This episode of Chaos Head includes depictions of incest and underage sexual relationships and some very gross views. If that's something that you find triggering, then I'd suggest coming back once we've gotten past the Daydream ending. Trust me, you're not missing much. Ho ho buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Chaos Head. Last time we were in the middle of doing the Nanami route, which we unlocked in the last episode. It turns out that the Nanami route consists of, when we find Nanami's hand in the original game, that didn't happen for some reason. And now it looks like we're hanging out with the delusion of Nanami. However, Takumi has received a phone call from the actual Nanami, while she's kind of missing her hand, and I'm assuming is still strung up on that D-sword that she was last time, in the other timelines, or in the other routes or whatever, and Takumi just assumes that she's pranking. So we might not even see the actual Nanami in this route, and we might just be hanging out with a delusion of Nanami. And then Nanami disappeared in the middle of the night, the delusion of Nanami. And but it's okay because she's back now and she's got bacon and sandwiches and stuff. So, you know, maybe this is a better Nanami. Okay, let's get going. I assumed she was going to bow her head to me, but she didn't end up doing that. Instead, Nanami headed straight back outside with a smile on her face. You know what? Let's eat outside. You had a folding table at one point, didn't you? Bring it out here! Damn it, the nerve of her putting a guy that had just woken up to work. If I did this, but the food sucked, she was going to have hell to pay. Out we go. I set up a small folding table and some chairs, the kind you'd use for camping and whatnot, then waited about 5 minutes. When Nanami finally finished making the food, she carried it over to the table and set it down. At the very least, it looked pretty appealing. Nanami had been our mum's helper in the kitchen for as long as I could remember. Suffice it to say... You just say suffice to say, don't you? You say suffice it to say? Her cooking skills were pretty passable. Well, she was definitely lucky, because if she sucked at cooking, she wouldn't be able to pull the sheepish smile and the oopsie-daisy tee-hee. Only 2D girls had that right. I'd immediately go soft if my 3D sister did that in real life. Okay, cool. Well, you should always be soft, Takumi. Also, Takumi is being really weird with his sister. And the only saving grace there is that this is a delusion of his sister, but it still looks like her sister. Hell, I'd probably even talk to her again. Nanami flashed a smile as she sat down next to me. Why are you sitting next to me? She was really close. Our shoulders were almost touching. There was no way I could eat when she was this close. It'd be too embarrassing. So I put a bit of space between us. What? The chair was already right here. Aren't you the one who put it here? No, well, yeah, I did, but the chair's just for camping. It's not even 30 centimeters tall, and it's light enough that even a girl could carry it with one hand. So it's not like it's a big deal to move it a little. Quit your bitching. Well, whatever. Come on, big bro. Eat up. Is she gonna go evil? Let's dig in. Nami clapped her hands together, then hurriedly readied her chopsticks. Her appetite seemed to be a lot stronger than before. Just in general, really. She seemed to be doing way better now. The fact that she'd been so weak at all yesterday almost didn't seem real. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, is that we found an empty box that usually has Nanami's hand in. We went outside and then she's naked on the floor and cold and weak. And now she's not. She's kind of clothed, she's not cold, and she's not weak. Though oddly enough, the more I thought about it, the more it felt like it didn't just seem not real, but it actually hadn't been real. She'd been lying, and naturally there was only a single reason for her to be lying. I wanted to be with my favoritist, bestest big bro. That's why I lied. Can you forgive me? Something along those lines? Lol, what kind of a roach did I think this was? Ruffle Lamau. Of course, I'd answer, like so. But I refuse. Big bro, what's with the smirk? Are you having one of those weird delusions again? She'd hit the nail on the head, and my head instantly shot toward the table, picking up a sandwich I stuffed my mouth full. Oh, it's good. The ham sandwich had the perfect amount of mustard, mayonnaise sauce. The perfect amount of mustard mayo. It was incredibly basic, just lunch meat, sauce and bread, but considering I didn't stockpile any form of seasoning around here, it was pretty damn good. Hehe, isn't it good? I took the time early this morning to stop by a 24-hour supermarket and I bought a whole bunch of stuff. You didn't though, you just bought mayo, mustard mayo and some lunch meat. Huh? You went shopping? In that? What kind of exhibitionist are you? I am so not an exhibitionist. Obviously I could never go out like this. I just borrowed your pants, that's all. I threw them on and then went to the store. I also bought myself some underwear. Oh, so she bought herself some underwear. Meaning that until then she hadn't been wearing any. No bra, no panties, only a sweatshirt and some pants. Now that was just wonderfully scandalous. To tell you the truth, I wanted to change out of this sweatshirt too. The anime picture on the front is pretty embarrassing to be seen in. But since you were the one who gave it to me to wear, I wasn't sure if it would be right to change out of it like that. Mainstream women not understanding Serotan's appeal was exactly what made them so awful. That said, if I had to walk through Shibuya, or even Akiba like that, I probably wouldn't have the guts. How'd you pay? Luckily for me, the pants I borrowed had a wallet in them, so it all worked out. I gawked. She really just said that while her small-ass mouth munched on some bacon. It all worked out. Like hell it all worked out. That wallet was mine. Did you spend my money? Well, I lost my purse yesterday, so what else was I supposed to do? That doesn't mean you can spend my money as you please. I voiced my complaints to Nanami, but she just wasn't listening. Dejected, I squished the half-cooked yolk in my bacon and eggs. This sucks. I lost my purse. My school bag is who knows where. And on top of that, I lost my bangle. That part hurts the most. Yeah, I think I'm the one in pain here. Just because I've got loads of money sitting around from RMT doesn't mean I'm a fan of getting stolen from. With how cheap that thing was, who cares if you lost it? Get your brain checked. Besides, I'd given it to her for free of charge, so it wasn't like she'd suffered any damages, so why the hell was she so fixated on the stupid thing? Inami squirmed in her seat. I care. It's the first present you've ever given me, big bro. I can't tell you how happy it made me. You're not fooling anyone. Saying cute shit isn't going to make me forget about how you took my money without asking. I'm definitely going to find it. I refuse to let it stay lost forever. For some reason, she tightly clenched her fists as she said that. As I inadvertently watched her do so, my eyes drifted toward the cuff of her right hand and landed on a white bandage. A bandage that gave me an awful, awful feeling. That bandage. Oh, this. When I pointed it out, Nanami took the time to roll up her sleeve and show it off. There was definitely a bandage on her right wrist. Even though yesterday, back when she'd been cowering next to my base completely naked, there'd been no such thing. Give me back my right hand. That's what the prank call was. Please, give it back. Oh, I see. This was a continuation of yesterday's prank, wasn't it? Pretty damn elaborate plan. What the hell was she trying to accomplish, though? Take it off. But playing pranks is a dick move. Huh? This isn't a prank. Ever since I woke up this morning, my right hand's been throbbing a little bit. I didn't really know why it was hurting, but I decided to go ahead and get a bandage for it while I was still at the store. So yeah. What exactly do you expect a bandage to do for that kind of pain? I didn't just use a bandage. I used a wet compress too. Like you're supposed to. Then just use the compress. I don't get why you're even bothering with the bandage. Sure, but look, haven't you heard the saying, healthy mind, healthy body? What are you even trying to say? I'm pretty sure you reverse those. Whatever, just take it off. Despite the fact that I was acting rude on the outside, and also gulping down my sandwich on the inside, my heart was pounding out of my chest. I was probably just overthinking things, but if the phone call from Nanami yesterday hadn't been a prank, then Nanami being sick really had just been an act, and in reality something really bad was going on with her. Something she was trying to hide from me. Jeez, I can't believe how little you care about what other people say, big bro. Despite looking reluctant, Nanami undid the bandage. I was confused by her surprising obedience. I guess I really had just been overthinking things. Looking away from her arm for a second, I brought some bacon and eggs to my mouth. Okay, it's off. I gulped once, and then slowly, my sister's arm took over my sight. Underneath the bandage, it was as normal as could be, not a scratch on her, not even any internal bleeding. She'd even bothered to take the wet compress off, even though I hadn't asked her to. I grabbed Nanami's hand and brought my face in for a closer inspection. Big bro? Not even a scratch. Nothing at all. I didn't ever say there was anything there. It was just throbbing a bit. I already told you. Oh, I guess you did. I knew I'd just been overthinking things. I guess that email yesterday from Shogun had still been on my mind, leading me to freak out at anything even remotely suspicious. Wait, what the fuck? That stench. Your arm. The wet cloth, they stink. I couldn't help but grimace as I let go of Nanami's arm. What the heck? Of course it stinks. I can't believe you would say that to a girl. You're such a jerk. Shut up. Just hurry up and eat already, then leave. You've got school. I had no interest in wasting any more valuable time with Nanami's annoying, nitpicking bullshit. Oh, right. School's a thing. Wait, I don't have my uniform. How am I supposed to go? You have a point. Guess I'll just take the day off and head home. I have a spare blouse and skirt, but as for a blazer, I need to go and buy a new one, huh? As Nanami continued muttering to herself about what her plans were, I gave her one last sidelong glance, wolfed down the rest of my breakfast, then went back into the container house. Oh. Early morning on the 28th, an unusual corpse was discovered on a road in Shoto Shibuya Ward. The corpse was identified as a 31-year-old Hashishuya Yasuyuki. Hang on, let me try that again. Hashishuya Yasuyuki, a resident of Naruma Ward. His cause of death is believed to be asphyxiation due to a foreign object being lodged in his throat. The victim's mouth was packed with large quantities of cloth that had been finely cut by scissors, and a considerable amount of the same cloth was found in his stomach. According to the police, the cloth is believed to be a girl's winter uniform from the high school Sumai Private Academy located in Shibuya Ward. Oh, okay. So it's going to be part of Nanami's uniform. Sumai Academy is approximately a 3-minute walk from the scene, and authorities are currently investigating the private school for any possible connections to the incident. Another new case. And since it couldn't have been just a normal murder, a girl's winter uniform from Sumai had been cut up with scissors and jammed into the victim's throat, choking him. Oh god, was that uniform Nanami's? It had to be. It couldn't just be just a coincidence. The timing was too perfect. It really was Shogun. Whatever that guy's goal was, it must have involved kidnapping Nanami and tearing off her uniform. That asshole was 100% trying to provoke me. I was next. I was going to be the next person to die. Big bro, what's wrong? Nanami called out from behind me, nearly making me tumble out of my chair. Oh wow, your face! You don't look so good. Ah, Nanami. I reached a hand out to Nanami. He's gonna kill me. Someone's gonna kill you. Quit joking around, it's not funny. I'm being serious. There's no doubt that guy's aiming for me next, Nanami. I'm so sorry, it's all my fault he kidnapped you. Ugh, what do I do? I'm scared. I'm so scared. As pathetic as it was to do this in front of my sister, my heart couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to cling to someone who could protect me. I hadn't heard a thing from Rimi lately. Ayase was hospitalized. There wasn't anyone else to protect me. But right as I thought that, Nanami gently took hold of my outstretched hand. Jeez, you really are a mess, big bro. You can't do a single thing by yourself. I swear, this is all because you've been playing way too many games. Today, I'd say you're better off staying on the couch, not the computer. Don't leave me alone. Okay. I get it. I'm not going to leave you alone. Really? Really? You were really nice to me yesterday, so I've got to show my thanks somehow. Nanami. At the end of the day, family really was who you should keep closest. Whenever you actually needed something, everyone else would disappear on you. They were all useless, where it actually mattered. The only thing that could well and truly support me in my time of need was family. Nanami lending me a hand was such a relief, I could barely keep myself from bursting into tears. I clung to Nanami's hand. I can't believe how spoiled you are, big bro. Really? How am I not the older sibling here? More like little bro. Shut up. I know, there. Nanami jokingly pat my head. It might have only been a bit of messing around to Nanami, but to me right now, the feeling was immensely comforting. Nanami, I, have a favour to ask. What is it? Normally Nanami and I only ever got into arguments, so it was pretty embarrassing to ask her for a favour, but I couldn't bring myself to care about that right now. Tonight, can you... Why'd you stop there? How am I supposed to know what you want if you don't say it? Tonight, can you stay over again, please? I'd feel a little more at ease if she did. I couldn't stand the thought of staying in this room all alone, completely terrified of Shogun, quote-unquote. But Nanami would probably be against it. She'd likely call me a pervert for it, especially since I'd had so much trouble saying it. I nervously turned to Nanami, expecting that reaction. What, is that all? I can totally do that. Heck, I can stay as long as you want. Definitely delusion. Really? I mean, I'm all worried about you now, big bro. So I can't just leave you alone. What did you expect? Thank you. I'm saved. Thank God. Family really is the best. No, my blood-related little sister. She's the best. Oh, Nanami, I'm so glad we're related. And really, if she got rid of that bratty side of her, she'd 100% be the ideal little sister. Something bad is going to happen. Nanami wasn't coming back. Wasn't she? Earlier, around noon, Nanami had gone to get clothes from home, as well as something to eat while she was out. With a carefree wave of her hand, she'd given me a "be back soon," and then left. 8 hours had passed since then. I hadn't gone online or even watched Bloodtune. I'd simply sat on the couch, doing nothing but waiting for Nanami to come back. Ever since she'd left, I'd been clutching my phone tightly, checking it every passing minute for any emails or calls from Nanami. Though I tried calling from my end, all I'd ever get was a message saying that the signal hadn't gone through or that her phone was off. Why wasn't she coming back? Had our parents said something to her? If so, what had it been? Why wasn't she coming back? Had our parents said something to her? Hock to her? If so, what would it have been? It doesn't matter if you two are siblings. Boys and girls your age shouldn't be staying in the same tiny room overnight, or something to that effect. Sounds about Yeah, no. Maybe they were just giving her hell over losing a uniform. When I thought about it for a second, I realised that Nanami would have been wandering the streets of Shibuya totally nude before arriving at my base. To put it bluntly, this was actually pretty serious. It wouldn't surprise me if it had turned into some outright criminal case. Because of that, I wouldn't put it past our parents to freak out and call the police in a panic. But what if none of that was it? What if it was actually something so much worse? What if this time, while Nanami was heading home, Shogun or maybe his underling, Yua, had kidnapped her? And if that wasn't bad enough, what if they'd already killed her? The possibility of having another email from Shogun made me too scared to check my inbox at all. Nanami, don't leave me all alone. Please, hurry and come back. Until I finally calm back down. Okay. Until I finally calm back down. I want you to forget all about school and stay by my side the whole time. Rimi promised me that, but she disappeared on me. If you disappeared, Nanami, I... Huh? Clutched in my hand, my cell phone began to vibrate. The second I noticed it, I immediately pressed the answer button, and the call connected. Hello, Nanami. Hey, Nanami, where are you? Big bro. Save me. A shudder ran through me. Oh god, had Shogun really abducted her? Why? Oh, why did you abandon me? Why, big bro? Was it Shogun? What did that guy do to you? It hurts. My right hand, it hurts. These bloody pranks. This again. Sluggishly lowering my phone, I mumbled that almost unconsciously. Deja vu. It was just like the call from yesterday. Back then, she'd said, give me back my right hand. I thought it was just a prank. But was I mistaken? I didn't know. I cowered in place, holding my head. Nanami, just where are you? Please come back already. Staggering, I aimlessly made my way outside. The sky was already dark as could be. The moon was nowhere to be seen. The distant outline of Shibuya was covered in a faint light. Going outside was a start, but I still wasn't anywhere close to having the strength to find Nanami. Should I give her another call? It was certainly possible that she was still pranking me for the second day in a row. Maybe I was really overthinking this. Oh, what are you doing, big bro? Huh? There she is. Startled, I looked toward the voice and saw Nanami standing there looking puzzled. She must have changed clothes, given her outfit was different than when she left. She also had a shopping bag in her hand. Where have you been? Sorry, I'm totally late. I went shopping with Mum for a new uniform and time just flew by. That was the best answer I could have hoped for. Though even then, one thing still bothered me. And the phone call earlier? Phone call? Oh, yeah, sorry, I really shouldn't have done that. Or at least emailed you saying I'd be running late. Oh, I really should have done that. So she thinks that he's saying, why didn't you phone me? No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I mean. I'm saying you did call. Nope, wasn't me. Really gotta put your head out the clouds, big bro. Nanami's answer seemed pretty relaxed. This conversation was just beyond of... just beyond off. Talk about dissonance. Forget that. Wanna guess what we're having for dinner tonight? Hehehe. What's this? Salisbury steak. Handmade by yours truly. Yep. You can help too from now on if you want, big bro. Wait a sec. Didn't you call me? Saying something about giving back your right hand. Sheesh, you're being really stubborn right now. Like I said, I didn't call you. You must be mistaking me for someone else. Putting on a very clear, sullen face, Nanami stormed into the container in a pout. Was I being deceived? It didn't really seem like it, not to mention Nanami wasn't really the type to pull such shit-tier pranks, or at least that was how I remembered her being. So what was the phone call then? Another one of Shogun's traps? Right then, I felt a chill on the nape of my neck, just like I was being watched. Whose eyes are those eyes? Mysterious. After we finished dinner, Nanami, we need to talk. Huh? What about? Without looking up from the manga she was reading, she gave an apathetic reply. She'd been flipping through various volumes from the piles of manga stacked up in the corner of the room. It's serious, so actually listen. What's the matter? Weird for you to get so serious all of a sudden. Perplexed, she closed the manga, straightened her back, then faced me. Ready when you are. Do you remember anything about the day before yesterday? The day before yesterday, Nanami had been cowering outside my container house completely naked. Her clothes, school bag, and bangle were all missing. As for her phone, it had been sent to me in a cardboard box covered in blood. Nothing about this was normal. Nanami had said herself that not even she knew what had happened. She'd been suffering from mild amnesia. Was she still dealing with it, though? Maybe she'd recovered since then. After all, she was acting like she was totally back to her usual self. When I asked her if she remembered anything now, Nanami immediately frowned, then lightly shook her head from side to side. Still the same. Seriously? Nothing at all? Seriously? Nothing at all? Yeah, I've been trying as hard as I can to just not think about it. I haven't even told Mum. Thanks to that, it was pretty tough dodging the question of where exactly my uniform went. Hee. Maybe I should take her to the hospital after all. What field of study would amnesia even fall under? Psychiatry? If it is psych, then we should probably see Dr. Takashina. At least, that was my thought process until I remembered Dr. Takashina had been murdered as a part of a new gen. A sharp pain shot deep into my chest. Nanami, my life is in danger. Huh? Nanami's eyes went wide. Of course, pretty much anyone would react like that if I suddenly said something so batshit. Problem was, the batshit stuff was the truth, so I decided to tell her everything. I told her about Shogun, about how I'd witnessed the third new gen case, the crucifixion, and how after that, countless strange, terrifying things had been following me without end. I told her about the threatening emails and other messages Shogun had sent me right before she'd landed naked on my doorstep, and lastly, I told her about the 2 prank calls I'd received from a fake version of her. At first, Nanami forced a smile and said, "Big bro, don't you think you're being kinda delusional?" But eventually, she realized that I wasn't joking around, and her expression stiffened. Listen, no more going out alone for a while. You could be attacked at any moment. Big bro, you're scaring me. I'm scared too. That's why we need to stick together. If the two of us stick together, we could keep each other safe. Not that let's start again. Not that I had any clue how a shitty older brother like me could keep her safe, nor how I'd support her feelings and whatnot. All I knew was that I couldn't bear it if she left me alone. I would have preferred help from someone who could have offered physical protection, but, well, my first choice would have been the police, but I was hesitant to talk to them. Those detectives I'd spoken in front of the Kurenai conference hall hadn't shown themselves since then. What happened to all the talk of defending me? Besides, they still might have suspected me of being the culprit behind the crucifixion. Trusting the police was out of the question. Until I could think of a better countermeasure, the only thing I had was to stay locked in my base. Sinking into the couch, Nanami wrapped her arms around herself and simply trembled. Sitting on the couch myself, I stared idly at the Seratan poster hanging above my PC. The room was completely clean now. After telling Nanami everything, she'd gone silent for a moment out of fear, before breaking the silence with a, "You know what? Let's clean up in here." It had taken 2 to 3 hours for things to get this clean. Guess she'd figured that keeping herself moving would mean she wouldn't have to think about everything else. She was lying in bed now. Huh. When was the last time that bed had been used for its intended purpose? I actually had used it for a couple of months when I'd first started living here, or at least I felt like I had. Interesting. It was always such a hassle cleaning this place up. Every time I did it, it was total hell, and I just couldn't wait for it to be over. As things were now, though, I was glad it was actually clean for once. Last night, Nanami had slept on the couch and I on the floor, so I couldn't be any happier to be sleeping on the couch tonight because goddamn had that not been comfortable. That said, I was a night owl by nature, so unlike Nanami, I wouldn't be drifting off so early. Well, yesterday had already ended, so I guess right now was technically early. I usually hit the sack once the sky started to brighten up. So yeah, I was pretty much lying there on the couch, staring off into space. Had Nanami fallen asleep yet? Judging by her breathing, probably not. Then, as if she'd heard my thoughts, Nanami began to squirm around. She tossed and turned for a moment before eventually showing her face. Hey, big bro. Were you asleep? Oh, were you asleep? Uh-huh. Nanami looked like she had something on her mind. After a moment, she timidly spoke. Hey, could I sleep with you? No. What? Oh, not like that. It's not like I want to sleep with you. Look, you being a really cruddy big brother aside, I'm just too freaked out to sleep by myself right now. So while I don't like this one bit, I'll just have to make an exception just for today. Her voice slowly got weaker and weaker as she spoke. Try as she might to keep up at the front. At the end of the day, Nanami was just too scared to sleep. I don't like this. So that was how I ended up in this situation. Do anything dirty to me and I'll kick your butt. Like I'd ever. Don't be dumb. I mean, you never know. What if you got all turned on or something? I'm telling you, I'm not going to do anything. As if I'd get turned on by my little sister. Well, that kind of stings. You could at least say a little turned on by me, you know. As if. And if you're going to bitch the whole time, go sleep somewhere else. Sorry, I'll just shut up then. Nanami went silent, pursing her lips in a pout. I was just shutting the door for Hagrid then. This was way more embarrassing than I'd anticipated. My heart was beating oddly fast. Sure, she was my sister, but never once had I ever been this close to a 3D girl, not to mention we were literally sleeping in the same bed. I'd audibly said I wasn't going to get turned on, but the truth was, that'd been a lie. Frankly speaking, I was already borderline. Borderline games. God, why did Nanami have to be staring at me? Close your eyes already. Don't look, it's embarrassing. Who is saying that? Nanami, surely. So I've been getting this weird feeling. Hey, big bro. You don't think I'm annoying, do you? Huh? Yeah, you probably do. I mean, she was right, I did. She was a brat. She was always yapping on and on about dumb shit, and she was always finding some way to interfere with my life. Though I suppose it was more fitting to say that I'd used to think of her that way. For the past couple of days or so, I've been spending more and more time with her. And during that time, even though when she was feeling incredibly weak, she'd still put on a smile and put up with a pathetic person like me. When I thought of it that way, it made me start to think that my sister was genuinely a source of comfort to me, maybe even a really big one. No, I don't. It's fine, it's not a big deal if you do. And FYI, don't get the wrong idea, but I just want to let you know, I don't hate you. Where the hell had that come from? Remember back when you were in the hospital? What? I've never been hospitalised. I've gone in for visits, but I never stayed there. That's not true. You were definitely in the hospital at one point. No, I wasn't. You're just wrong. Are you sure? Well, whatever. Forget about that. Anyway, back when you couldn't make it to school and it was causing a lot of problems, it got me thinking that I needed to stay strong, dependable. So the reason why I'm always nagging you about all sorts of stuff, well, that's why. It's got nothing to do with me hating you, okay? Way back before you even went to the hospital, you always used to spoil me like crazy. Back then I could always rely on you. I loved you more than anything, big bro. Past tense. Huh. So that's why I thought that this time I could be the dependable one. But instead of you being there for me, I'd be there for you, and I'll help you with whatever you're struggling with. Not that I can say for sure how much I've actually helped here. I'm sorry for being such a horrible brother. Maybe it was because of where I was, but for whatever reason, it was easier to say things I wouldn't normally say. It's okay, really. We're siblings, after all. Besides, I remember all about how dependable you used to be. So it doesn't matter if you slip and fall a bit along the way. I'll never hate you, okay? Nanami. So that was how Nanami felt. I was incredibly happy. At this point, I would never stop kicking myself for thinking that having a 3D sister would suck ass. Having a sister, having Nanami, was a blessing. Hang on. Is this Nanami? But just for today, just for a little bit, could you spoil me instead? I know earlier I acted really tough, but to be honest, when I was lying there all alone, my imagination was really starting to scare me, and it just kept on getting worse. So could you just spoil me for a little bit? I just want to feel okay again. Nestling her body up against mine, Nanami buried her face in my chest. She smelled really nice. I've wanted you to do this for so long. I've wanted you to spoil me like this for so long, big bro. I couldn't help but embrace her slender body. I then hugged her tighter, then tighter. As long as I had Nanami, nothing else mattered. I didn't need Saratan. I didn't need people bowing down to me in ESO. All I needed was Nanami, a girl of flesh and blood. A girl who always had me on her mind. Feeling her warmth on my skin put my mind entirely at ease, and next thing I knew, I was falling into a deep, gentle sleep. Yeah, I don't like this. When I woke up, I was lying on the couch. Huh? That was weird. I thought I'd been asleep in my bed with Nanami. Had I woken up just enough to make my way over here, but not enough to realize it. Not enough to realize it. Not enough to realize it. Realize. I looked up at the bed. I looked up at the bed, only to see a bulge under the sheets. Nanami must have still been asleep. I checked the time on my phone. Huh? I felt an odd sense of discomfort. Something wasn't right. I had no idea what, though. It was like my brain had no idea what was going on anymore. What date is it today? If I remembered correctly, I was pretty sure it wasn't November yet. I mean, how the hell could I have gone to sleep and then woken up at 8 PM? What? Did that mean I'd slept for almost 20 hours straight? Yeah, not a chance. It didn't matter how much I'd left my guard down since I was within an army. There's no way I would have gotten that much shut-eye. I had to wonder if my phone was just broken and therefore the date and time were wrong. But when I checked the date and time on my PC, were the same as my phone. A little past 8 PM on November the 4th. No way. There's just no way. Muttering that to myself, I connected to the internet, opening both my browser and the email as I scoured the latest news. But no matter where I looked, the date always indicated November 4th. I read through countless news articles before one in particular caught my eye. Boy Messiah was a no-show, protests ensue. The article was dated October the 28th, 1 week ago. Could all this be connected to Shogun and the email he'd sent summoning me? Shogun had definitely sent me an email saying to come to the O-Front at 9 PM. That couldn't be just a random coincidence. And what's more... What the hell? Something was off here. For one, the 6th new-gen case there shouldn't have been Dominatrix. And 2, there'd been a 7th new-gen case? DQN puzzle. Nude gen. What? When had all that happened? Staring at the new-gen bulletin, I froze completely. You've got mail, you big dum-dum! It took the sound of Seratan's voice to bring me back to myself. Apparently, I had an ungodly amount of new emails, and my computer was finally ready to download them all. I'm gonna kill you. You think I'm stupid? Don't be such a dumbass. You've got some nerve. 53 new emails. And they were all from Shogun. Every single title was openly, entirely confrontational. I'd never once seen Shogun swear like that before. Feelings of fear and confusion made a disgusting, nasty sweat bead across my entire body. Nervous as could be, I clicked open the most recent email. Not a single reply all week. I'm not the sort of moron you're making me out to be. If that's your plan, then I'll see to it that Nanami-chan gets tortured even more. If I overdo it a bit and she ends up dead, don't blame me for it. It'd be all your fault, not mine. You're the bad guy here. What was going on here? What was going on, goddammit? Calm down. Take a deep breath. Now, stop for a second and think. This was all just a delusion. Yeah, it was all just a dream. Just a dream, Takumi. I was going to wake up and then the laugh track would ensue. Then I'd realise that I was sleeping with Nanami and in my bed, and then I'd be back in reality. Ugh. A knocking sound resounded from my door. It was coming from outside. Who was it? I held my breath, eyes glued to the door. Silence. No sign of life at all, but the moment I thought I'd just been hearing things. The knocking sound came again. I hadn't been hearing things. Oh god, was it Shogun? After all this time, had he finally come to here to kill me? And yet when I heard the voice from beyond the door, it was beyond even my wildest expectations. Big bro, open up, please! Nanami. Huh. How? My eyes snapped to the bed. Nanami should have been asleep there. There was a bulge right under the white sheets. Hey, Nanami, wake up. I climbed partway up the ladder to the bed, then told Nanami to wake up, and yet the sheets didn't move an inch. Something wasn't right. Nanami! I violently threw them off, and beneath them were just a bunch of cardboard boxes. Nanami wasn't there. Huh? My mind went blank. And not only was Nanami not there, but the bed wasn't even clean. It would have been impossible to sleep in. There were boxes upon boxes stuffed full of manga and eroge. That was how it had looked before Nanami had cleaned it up yesterday, but now it was right back to normal. Right back to being a spot I used for storage. Wait. Hadn't Nanami cleaned up yesterday? I looked around the room. Not a damn thing about it was even close to clean. Why hadn't I noticed that sooner after waking up a few minutes ago? I was at a total loss. My memories were all jumbled up. Big bro! I heard a voice from outside again. Nanami's voice. Who was that Nanami? Where was the Nanami I'd slept with? What happened to the naked, trembling Nanami? I didn't understand. I didn't understand a damn thing. I stumbled my way to the door, then clung onto it. The inside was locked with a padlock. This entire container had been a locked room. It would have been impossible for Nanami to sneak out while I'd been asleep. I was on the brink of tears. This had to be an attack from Shogun. Still, I knew I had to open the door, because outside was Nanami's voice. It was incredibly, incredibly weak, and it was calling for me. And so I undid the lock, and then... I slowly opened the door. Hello? There she is with no hand. Big bro! Ah! Nanami was there, wearing her missing uniform. Her entire body covered in blood. Her right hand severed. Wielding a blade I'd never seen before. A D-sword. Her hollow eyes turned toward me. Stunned as could be, I couldn't say a word. Why didn't you come? I waited a whole week for you. I called out for you over and over again. Big bro, save me. But you never came. This was a delusion. This was a delusion. This was a delusion. My right hand, it hurts. Give me back my right hand. Give me back my right hand. Ever since I woke up this morning, my right hand's been throbbing a little bit. Which was real? Which was a delusion? What was I looking at? Who had I been talking to until now? Where had that Nanami gone? Where had this Nanami come from? Big bro! Suddenly I heard Nanami's voice coming from behind me. In front of me was Nanami covered in blood. Behind me was Nanami calling out to me. Fear gripping me, I nervously turned around, and behind me... Oh, there she is. Was Nanami. Wearing the clothes I'd lent her, her right hand still perfectly attached. There were two Nanamis. Who is that? Who is that? The two Nanamis spoke in unison. When Nanami saw Nanami, her expression grew puzzled. When Nanami also saw Nanami, her expression grew tearful. Caught between two Nanamis, This is a delusion. Sank to the floor, clutching my head. If this was the delusion, I wanted to wake up already. I didn't want to see a delusion this horrifying, and yet no matter how much I wanted to wake up, I couldn't get back to reality. Is she a fake? The blood-stained Nanami shifted and swayed. She held on to her D-sword, a sword both pitiful and sinister, with a height comparable to even her own. Why is this fake with you? Is it her fault you didn't come to save me? What? I'm not a fake. You're the fake here with that weird sword thing. Both voices belong to Nanami. Both faces belong to Nanami. Both call me Big Bro. Which Nanami was real? Which Nanami was fake? Were they both real? Were they both fake? I'll show you, you fake. Get away from my Big Bro. The blood-stained Nanami brandished her D-sword with one hand, then swung it with incredible ease. The end of it was aimed straight toward the non-blood-stained Nanami's neck. Ah! Making no attempt to avoid it, Nanami froze in place. It hit her head-on. The brutal, unforgiving edge of the D-sword dug into her neck, and then... it slipped right through. Huh? The non-blood-stained Nanami should have been decapitated, and yet there wasn't even a drop of blood. She wasn't even injured. She simply stood there just as she'd been the whole time. There wasn't any doubt that Nanami had swung the D-sword, and with that amount of force behind it, Nanami's head should have been blown clean off. I knew it. You really are a fake. Huh? What? How did I... Stop. You're a fake and you know it. I'm not a fake. Shut up already. Big Bro, get away. Get away from them. She's wrong, Big Bro. I'm right here. You know I'm right here. Shut the hell up. I couldn't help but scream. It was all just so goddamn confusing. One of you is a delusion. My sister isn't... Nanami isn't two different people. I alternated between the two Nanamis, comparing them. Both looked like Nanami to me, so I turned to the one wearing my sweatshirt. I wished from the bottom of my heart that this Nanami was real. The Nanami I'd held tightly in my bed was real. And so I followed my desire. I reached out my hand toward her face. Also, I could gently brush her cheek. But, just like the D-sword before me, my hand slipped right through her. Even though Nanami was right there, I couldn't touch her. I'd felt nothing there. As if she were a holographic projection. I was overwhelmed by an uncontrollable sadness. Tears flooded from my eyes in large drops. No! There's no way. I'm not a fake. Come on, big bro. I'm not a fake, right? Say I'm not a fake. Nanami tried to cling on to me, and I tried to hold her in return. And yet, just as I feared, the Nanami before me had no substance. My hands slipped right through her body. This is wrong. This is all wrong. I'm right here. Nanami's right hand firmly grasped my left. Ah! I could feel it. I could feel her frail strength grasping my hand. I could feel neither her body nor her head nor her neck. Only her right hand was touching me. So, is he there with the hand? That's kind of funny. Get away from him! The Nanami without a right hand shouted out. Get away from my big bro, right now, you monster! The very next second, all power drained from her body, and while still holding onto her D-sword, she fell to the ground with a thud. Sweat was pouring from the Nanami's forehead. The colour was draining from her face. Considering her right hand had been cut off, she was bleeding profusely. And she was bleeding profusely. It was only a matter of time until she passed out. An awful thought passed through my mind. I knew it couldn't be true, but I couldn't stop myself from thinking about it. In my mind, it was the only answer to all of this. An answer that was no less than a nightmare. That's right. I heard a voice. A voice that wasn't Nanami's. It was Rimi. It's exactly as you think, Taku. Behind the fallen Nanami, standing outside the door, was Rimi. Wielding a wing-like D-sword. Sakahata Rimi was standing right there. Our eyes met. She looked at me with deeply sad eyes. The Nana-chan who's right hand, you're holding right now, is one you're about to real boot. Real boot? You couldn't face reality, so you imagined her. The Nana-chan who's holding a D-sword is the real one. Don't lie to him! I'm the real Nanami! Taku, when you saw Nana-chan's severed hand, you went into a state of shock. And in order to cope with it all, you created a delusion in which you never saw the hand, a delusion in which Nana-chan was safe and sound. I hadn't seen a hand. Shogun had only sent a blood-stained cell phone. Or had the hand been there? Maybe I'd been trying not to see it. Maybe I've been refusing to. There she is naked. So she was saying that Nanami being naked was something I'd made up. And that the real Nanami, the one who was standing in front of me covered in blood and missing her right hand, had been kidnapped by Shogun. You're lying. It's the truth. Please, Taku. You need to stop this delusion immediately. What you're about to do is commit the terrible act of creating a human being. The power you're using right now exceeds the energy of even a nuclear weapon. Even if you weren't aware of it, that's exactly what put you into a near coma for the past week. Taku, if you don't stop, then there really will be two Nana-chans in this world. And the more power you put into that delusion, the more life it takes away from someone else. So please. You're lying. I'm sorry. It's my fault for not being able to protect you. But I'm begging you, as painful as it may be, you need to face reality. Stop this delusion right now, Taku. Big bro, don't erase me. If you don't stop this delusion, I will kill you. Big bro! I shook off Nanami's right hand. It was all too much. I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't have the slightest clue what to believe. Believing Rimi's explanation, I just couldn't. Believing Nanami, who was standing there in tears, I just couldn't. Believing Nanami, who was lying there grasping a D-sword, I just couldn't. Believing myself and what I felt, I just couldn't. What I wished for was something simple. A quiet, peaceful life with nothing to disturb it. A wonderful, blissful future with Nanami, with my sister. That was all I wished for. That was all I hoped for. Was I not allowed that wish? Was I not allowed that hope? Then everyone should just disappear. This whole world should just be erased. And in my own head, disturbed by no one, inside my delusion, I could live in a world neither fake nor real. A world with just the two of us. Just me and one Nanami. I peered into Nanami's eyes. They were glistening with tears. Nanami was looking at me. If I have Nanami, that's enough for me. I whispered that aloud, and the very next second. Uh-oh. The world had jolted. A third melt. Is Rimi gonna kill me? My wish had come true. The world was enveloped in white. All and everything was consumed by it. And as literally as could be, it was all erased. Oh. I'm lying on my back. When I opened my eyes, I saw the familiar ceiling of my container house. I was lying on my back right on top of my bed. Huh. Had I fallen asleep? It felt like I'd just been dreaming about something truly horrifying, like I'd just been dreaming about something truly nauseating. But it had been just a dream. It couldn't have been anything else. Whether that was reality or just a dream, didn't matter to me. Whether this was reality or just a delusion didn't matter either. I felt a gentle weight on my chest. Moving my eyes toward it, I saw her. It was Nanami sprawled out on my chest. Our eyes met. Nanami was watching me closely. Her eyes were wet, her cheeks dyed the colour of cherry blossoms. Thank you for everything last night. Weird. At first I didn't understand what she meant. You accepted my feelings for you and I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier that my big bro loves me. Big bro, I can't believe it, but I've fallen for you way, way harder now. Right, so this must have been one of those so-called character roots that you saw in an Eroge. And surprisingly enough, I took the situation in stride. Nanami seemed cuter than ever right now. I couldn't help but think about how lovable she was. I saw her both as my sister and as a girl. You'll keep on loving me a whole lot from now on, won't you? And if I say... Oh, and if I say, but I refuse. Old habits die hard, I guess. Nanami's face soured as she sat up. Sheesh! I'm trying to have a serious conversation here, you jerk! She got out of bed. Crap, how could I possibly make it up to her? That was when I noticed that what was in my hand. Bringing it close to my face, I realised what it was. A bangle. It wasn't the one I'd given her before, however. This one was way fancier, way cuter. It would look really good on her. Thinking that to myself, I got out of bed too. Here, Nanami. I got you a present. Huh? I slipped it on Nanami's right wrist as she stared blankly at me. It was a little like putting a wedding ring on her finger, and that made me feel pretty damn awkward. Wow, what a cute bangle. Is this really for me? When I nodded, Nanami smiled from the bottom of her heart. She looked happier than I'd ever seen her before. Hehe, I'll treasure it, big bro. Nanami. We'll be together forever, won't we? Huh? Where'd that come from? Because I want to be with you. I want to be with you forever, Nanami. What? Do you realise what you just said? Like, that was really bold. You have a fever or something. Oh, I see. You're just messing with me, aren't you? I'm being serious. What? Do you mean as siblings? Or do you mean, as something else? Both. Both? Both. Huh. Hee hee. Michael Jackson. Hee hee. Jam on. I think this is the first time you ever told me how you feel. So that's how you feel about me, huh? You think I'm a freak, don't you? No, I don't think that at all. If anything, it, makes me really happy. Well, since you got yourself to say all that, then I guess I've got no other choice. I'll be with you, big bro. I'll stay by your side. However, I've got one condition. A condition? Yep, it's, well... Nanami squirmed ever so slightly. Her face turned bright red. She then stared directly into my eyes. I want you to kiss me. Those were her words. I'd do anything, Nanami asked. My mind was already made up. She and I would live together, just the two of us. I didn't need anything else. As long as I had Nanami, nothing else mattered. Is that a no? You think it's wrong for siblings to kiss? I shook my head. I don't think so, no. Big bro. I love you. With those words, Nanami leapt into my arms and kissed me. I was kissing my little sister. Her sister's sweet sighs passed through my lips. I was overwhelmed with happiness, along with feelings of intense fulfillment. I was brimming with love for Nanami. But for some reason, for only just a moment, I felt incredibly sad. Warm drops found their way down my cheeks. And everything was fine, and those tears flowed, I vowed deep within my heart. This world where Nanami was, I wouldn't let anyone harm it. I'd make absolutely sure that it would stay safe. And no matter what happened, I'd always protect it. Well, what a depressing and disgusting story. Wow, okay. Can I skip this? Oh, I can. Reach the Daydream ending. Awesome. Alright. Next time, what are we going to be doing next time? Next time, we're going to be having a look at the Daydream we just did. Moon and Sun ending. So hopefully that is a less incestuous story. But we'll find out next time on Borderline Games. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Chaos Head. And I will see you next time. Have a great evening. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye-bye-bye. Bye.